Chatsworth Durban, a name that echoes through the history of South Africa, not in headlines or tourist brochure, but in the quiet, persistent rhythm of everyday life. It's not just a suburb, it's not just a township. Chatsworth is a living archive of displacement, resilience, and identity. To outsiders, it's a place they pass on the end to, a clusters of home and shop fronts sprawling across the hills. But to those who know it, who grew up on its narrow lane, who smelled the scent of biryani on Sunday, who waited for the bus in the dawnlight, it is home. It is memory, struggle, and survival written into the walls. Chatsworth was not born gently. It was forged in the fires of apartheid. Under the Group Areas Act, thousands of Indian families were uprooted from areas closer to the city, places like Cathal, Manor, and Riverside, torn from familiar streets and pushed out to the fringe. Chatsworth was designed not as community, but as a containment, a calculated relocation. But something happened that the architects of separation didn't account for. People made a life here. With almost nothing, they built everything. Homes were erected on sand and promise. Schools opened under tin roofs. Mosques and temples stood beside churches, not in conflict, but in coexistence. The scent of curry leaves mixed with gospel hymn. Tamil prayers rose beside Pentecostal songs, a uniquely Chatsworth symphony. In the 1980s and 90s, Chatsworth pulsed with youth, with tension, with identity. This was not a place that forgot the politics of the outside world. It shaped its own resistance. Student march, activists spoke. The struggle did not stop at the township's edge. In fact, it sharpened here. Still, for every story of protest, there is another of joy. School sports day, Saturday morning cricket, trips to the Bayview Library, dance competition, backyard braais, the music of the Fazzies, and many more. People fell in love here, fought here, got married, raised children, buried parents, told stories on stops, and listened to grandmothers predict rain. Life was never easy, but it was full. The shopping center became a meeting point, a fashion runway, a place where teenagers went to pretend they had money, and where aunties bargained like warriors. The Archaican Hospital, for all its faults, saw thousands of births and goodbyes. Names were written into its ledger that would go on to define generation. And still, Chatsworth evolves. The children of those first family became the next builder. Some left chasing opportunity overseas. Others stayed, started businesses, ran ward committees, became teachers, or simply continued the everyday defiance of waking up and trying. Yes, it is a place marked by hardship. There are scars here, and they are real. But the mistake many make is thinking the scars define the place. They do not. The spirit of Chatsworth runs far deeper than it wounds. It is in the woman opening her spaza shop before sunrise. It is in the child reciting a speech in perfect isiZulu, English, and Tamil. It is in the old man on a corner bench who still remembers the bus number he took in 1972 to the Durban docks. Chatsworth is a mirror of South Africa itself. Complex, contradictory, beautiful, bruised, brilliant. A place where survival isn't just an act, it's an art form. Where the faith and culture blend. Where a township born of forced removal became a cradle of identity. So when we say the name Chatsworth, we're not just naming a place on a map. We are invoking a legacy of people who were told they didn't belong and made a home anyway. Of families who stitched together dignity from scraps, of laughter that rang louder than oppression. Chatsworth is not perfect, but it is powerful. And in the cracks of its pavement, in the walls of its home, and in the heart of its people, you'll find a truth that refuses to die. You cannot kill community. You cannot erase memory. You cannot stop life from flowering even in the soil of injustice. This is Chatsworth Durban, a township of memory, a township of fire, a township of home.